of the side of hantavirus.
And this is why we had the big trailer, because of all that.
What'd you find?
I have no idea. Welcome back to the channel. This one's gonna be a little bit different, guys, because we're gonna say bye to Ian. He's gotta go back to school. But don't worry, we're getting back here in this garage before this video's over. All right, let's see if we can do this. One down. Let's go ahead and push it into its zone. We gotta negotiate where we're gonna put this thing now. That thing rolled, got pretty quick once it came down, and it doesn't have drivetrain in it. The other two do, so we might have to get a little more creative for the next two. See what we can do here. You guys ever seen spare gas tank like that? It's got an oversized tank here, spare gas tank there. There's your vacuum line for your wipers. All right, let's push this one into position. Second one down on to number 3. Now, if that one looks familiar, that's because this is one that Matt Welzel helped me dig out of the back of an area in South Dakota at S&B Motors, and me and my dad got it actually running. Barely, it runs, but could use some carburetor work. This thing's like the coat of many colors. You got green and yellow and red and blue and brown and to the side of hantavirus.
Mom, hand. Pushing.
Okay. Shoulder veins. Shoulder vein. All right, one more. So why were we unloading the Jeeps, you ask? Well, we got to get some stuff from South Dakota, and we also got to take this young man back to college. So he is gonna be leaving us for a little bit so that he can go back to school and get smarter and stuff and be able to count to 55. We're riding around in Rat's Nest. You guys remember when I built this thing? Still rips along pretty good. And I taught both our kids how to drive off a manual transmission. They weren't allowed to drive until they knew how to drive a manual, because we know how spoiled we are here in the US. You get outside of the US and everything's manual. Well, we just drove all day, and you're probably wondering why I have the long trailer for Ian's one car. Bring him up here to Laramie, Wyoming, because the kid's gonna go be a cowboy. UW.
Go Pokes.
We gotta get him, get his stuff unloaded here at his place with his buddies. Let's unload all your stuff.
Oh.
You guys didn't know you could rent U-Haul Liberties, right? This is Ian's entire room. An oversized closet slash like, I mean, this is literally it. Like, I'm against the wall here. So that's the college life, though. He's got to be stoked. It's better than being in a dorm like he was last year, sharing a house with his buddies. Little room, brah, for a big guy. You're bigger than the door.
You have to duck.
Best way to furnish a college kid's house? Goodwill.
Yep.
We found a few good deals. We're still gonna have to hit up some other stuff at Walmart, but hey, you know what? We took a gamble on a desk. We'll see how that works out. It's in a box. It says it's new, but who knows if it's missing bolts. We'll find out. New day. We had to find Ian a bed for his house, so we found a cheap box spring and a cheap mattress, and Shanna's got a $5 trash can, and then all the necessities.
Plunger.
Yep.
Teenage boys need plungers.
Get these things moved in.
All right, so we've spent a few days here with Ian hanging out. We got him kind of set up at his place. His roommates are going to be showing up tonight. We had a little friendly bowling action earlier that I am still holding championship to. But now we're going to play a little disc golf. If you guys haven't played disc golf, it's pretty fun. And if you come down to Farmington for 4x4 week, you'll definitely want to play disc golf down there because it's a super cool course. What do you think?
I'm gonna win.
You're going to win? All right. Taking bets. You think me, Ian, or Shanna? All right, go for it, Bubba.
Oh no, you're gonna video me?
Yeah.
You know, everyone does worse on camera.
Yeah.
This is your tactic right here.
It's on the other side over there.
It's over there. Not that
There's
way.
a wind. This is Laramie, Wyoming.
Ready?
That wasn't bad. I'll try throwing it this way. I always throw this way.
Oh. You're with me.
I aim the right way.
I went farther.
This one's a par 3. It's a pretty short par 3. It's only like 220 yards.
This one?
Last one.
We're all +1. They trick you with these trees. Getting right in your way. This one, oh yeah, right there on the other side of them trees. You can do it.
Oh.
It's close for third throw. You gonna get par, Ian? Yeah. I guess I better get par too. Oh, that's close. All right, this is par. We're in Wyoming. He says he's waiting for the wind to go down.
Oh!
He missed. All right, there's Shanna. Right underneath it. I got a putter here. Oh! See how Ian did me? I'm holding a bag and a camera. And all the excuses. Shanna, there's Ian. Somebody's closer. Oh, Shanna threw the wrong way. We need to go over here. That was a good toss. I'm gonna see if I can get it in there, in the zone. I missed my putt. Ian made his. It's like a Happy Gilmore scene all over again. It's all in the hips.
It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips.
Get off of me!
He's up.
I found my happy place.
Shanna's in the back of the pack by a few shots.
Yeah. It's about the fun.
It is fun. See Ian out there in the lake? He's digging for his frisbee. Oh, he found it. He's playing it. And he's throwing it deeper into the lake. Nope, he got it out. A shoeless play. This is a 580 some foot par 4. It's a big one. I really don't know anything about golf. I'm not good at golfing. I'm not really good at frisbee golf either, but I like throwing the frisbees. I'm about to tie Ian. He's gonna be one up on par. I'm gonna get par right there. We're tied now.
Yeah.
Oh, Shannon just tried to wipe me out in the face with a putter.
I'm handicapped. I'm left-handed. See?
That's what, 6, 7? 7? All right, at one point I was 3 throws ahead of him, but he ended up finishing 1 throw ahead of me. So Ian ended up winning. He got 10, I got 11, and Shanna got 22 over par. So not too bad, I guess. I don't know what to do, if good's bad or bad's good.
This is an 18-hole course, so
Yeah, in 18 holes.
yeah.
All right, well, we got to say bye to Ian because he's got college, but that doesn't mean this is going to be the last time we see of him, obviously. He's just going to have to come in and out a little bit for a little while. So while he gets smarter, we'll just keep doing our dumb stuff. Love you, son.
Love you too.
And this is why we had the big trailer, because of all that. Still had vehicles here in South Dakota. So yes, I did own another S10. This one I got cheaper. I don't know what we're gonna do with it yet. I'll probably sell it. And this Chevy Custom Deluxe that's all rusty. The thing about tetanus here is that even though the truck is rusty, the frame is solid, the drivetrain only has 80,000 miles on it, and it is a 6.2 diesel, 82 first year of it actually. So this will be a future project. For now, we're just gonna bring it back to South Dakota and park it because we got a pacer to build. We made it back home and we didn't get any downtime because today is cleanup day in Chokecherry Canyon. We're getting ready for Four Corners 4x4 week, and so we're gonna go out and help clean up the desert with the rest of the Cliffhangers 4-wheel drive club and anybody else that wants to be part of cleaning up. So hopefully we can get all the trash picked up. Right, we just got here. They got the tent up, they got a giveaway side by side, they got giveaway prizes for people that bring in the most stuff. Basically, the more bags you bring in, the more raffle tickets you get, the more trash gets filled in there, and everybody wins. So, pretty cool setup.
I'm excited. You know what I like about it? I like that this is proper trail management because it's a side that nobody ever sees, that you got to clean it up and keep everything open so that we can all enjoy it.
Alan is a big sponsor for this year's cleanup of the glades, so we're gonna come out here and just start cleaning stuff up. Somebody just showed up with a trailer full of stuff already. I don't know how many raffle tickets that is, but that's a lot of bags of trash. They also provided lunch. Found my first bit of trash. Anybody want some chips? Big bags. Right behind me over there is the competition area. So the We Rock Grand Nationals, East versus West, the best of the best, will be there competing September 7th and 8th. Right there. What is that?
I have no idea.
Weird.
Who knows? Bunch of glass though.
Oh yeah, somebody broke a bottle.
Don't break your bottles.
So we haven't even, like, the parking lot where we started is just right there, and I want to show you guys this. Look at this. This is another one of the same color beer bottles, and we were on that side over there. So whoever had these beer bottles is just hucking them and breaking them, which is really sad. There's another one here. There's another one here. It's hard to tell, but it's definitely, like, see, there's more beer bottles and more, and then whatever that is. It's just sad because I think this was probably somebody was just sitting here drinking and then just hucking trash. But we'll hang out here for a while, pick this stuff up. I want to show you guys something that I see more and more often. This is a regular road, and the trash ends up being right here on the side of the road. And a lot of times I don't think it's intentionally chucked out of a vehicle. I think it bounces out of a vehicle. I think people put them in their truck or put them in their back of their side-by-sides especially, and you can run this road at a much higher pace than you would a four-wheeling trail. I blame a lot of the trash falling out of vehicles because they don't have a trash bag like this. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I'd love it if you bought mine, but there are other people out there selling these trash bags as well. And the reason that I pushed these so hard, even when I was on Bleep and Jeep, is because you can take it, throw it in there, and all the fluid, all the dirt comes out of it. So you're not holding a bunch of weight, you're just holding the trash. So obviously we're putting stuff in these trash bags because we're gonna collect a lot of stuff, more than I can hold in that. But if you just have your own bag, what'll help prevent the trash is by putting it in a bag that can just carry that. And then you can just pressure wash this thing out at the end of the day. So even if you pick up other beer cans, other gear oil things or whatever, you're gonna be able to wash this out and it won't be all nasty and it won't backsplash in your face. Now, like I said too, if you go to coltbuildsit.com, you can buy this. I actually sell all my merch through Goat Trails. She operates and runs all of my merch. So everything that you get, you actually get from her, through me, to her, to you, and she takes care of all that, which is kind of nice. But you don't have to buy mine if you don't like green. I like green. There's plenty of other people out there. You know, I kind of got the YouTubers on the bandwagon of running all these as well. So, you know, there's a lot of them out there. You can run a lot of different ones. I just like to see people have one. That way your trash doesn't fall out of your pickup bed. It doesn't fall out of the door of your side-by-side or the little back of your side-by-side. If you're ripping across the dunes or the dirt or the trail, it'll stay in the bag. She always has to slam the door. Picking up trash that people leave behind might get her a little angry. She's smiling on the outside. Yuck.
Old tarp.
Yeah, an old tarp probably washed down from the main road. That's kind of what we're noticing, and that's what I always see, is most of the trash comes from kind of the main roads and not so much the off roads or the trails, because people go faster. And like I said, I think there are those trashy people out there that just huck their stuff on the ground, but I think the majority of it is people that just finish their water bottle or finish whatever, they throw it in the back, the floorboard or whatever, and then it bounces out due to going at a faster pace. What can I say? Colt builds it as trash. Grape drink. How many of you guys grew up just drinking grape drink? I always had grape drink or orange drink. I liked orange the most, I think. Main road, trash. Well, we just unloaded our first load, and 2 of these huge roll-off dumpsters are already full. Actually 3. So we're getting there. Like, it's already, there's some tires some people have found. It's adding up quick. For not a huge amount of people out here, that's a pretty fast amount of trash to find. So it's neat to see everybody out here doing your part. The important part of being part of an off-road club. So we just had lunch with the club and everybody. There was probably, what would you say, 7 BLM officers there as well.
Yeah.
That are out here also cleaning up, and they were actually happy to see so many people out here doing it. Now we're headed back out. Also, an incentive to pick up trash is they give you tickets. For every trash bag you bring back, you get a ticket, and then they're gonna have a raffle at the end of the day today that you can win stuff just for picking up trash. So this is a pretty cool thing for the off-road community. So if you are out here next year at the end of August, come out to the cleanup.
What'd you find?
I have no idea.
It's got cup holders
A box, center console, something.
and
Van.
carpet.
Dirty hippie van junk. That is the grossest carpet ever.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
What'd you find that was the best thing that you found so far, you think?
Best? I
Yeah.
haven't found anything best.
Interesting. You found some animals.
Oh, the desert panthers.
Yes. And the lizard that popped out of the bottle.
Oh yeah, I had a lizard jump out of the bottle at me. My battery light just came on. I watched my voltmeter was dropping down. It was actually slowing down. And funny thing is, I thought my alternator was going out a long time ago, actually, when we were up in Moab, I think during Easter Jeep Safari. And I bought another alternator, and then all of a sudden it started working again. So I've just had it sitting in the back of the truck, waiting for it to finally die. This time it finally died. So we're actually out here in the desert. I'd be in bad shape, except I started smelling some burning, and then I knew right away. I was like, and I started seeing my voltmeter drop off. 6 months later, I have a dead alternator. But I've had this in the box behind my seat the whole time. Ooh, it's warm. Almost like it's singed.
You could smell it for sure.
One of the things I love about these old GM 4.3s is how it is really simple to get the belt off. You know, you just got a tensioner, which a lot of vehicles have now, but back in the early 90s, it wasn't as popular of an idea. Another thing I like about the way GM did this is the alternator is just here, easy to access. There's a bolt back here, bolt here, and then a bolt on the side. And then you can just kind of pry it up. Hopefully, we'll get it up out of here, and then I can change the wires out on it. I gotta pop that part loose. I needed my pry bar. Perfect. Normally on an alternator, I'd say disconnect your battery before taking all this apart, but I'm gonna go ahead and swap this out on the new alternator, put it back in, and do it without changing the battery out because, well, maybe I'm lazy, I don't know. I'm trying to be quick. All right, bolt here. All right, just like that, it's all back together. So hopefully that does the trick. And we're back. Oh yeah, all the bolts.
Our gift certificate.
We just had a raffle. Everybody won something. We got this stuff. Like, how does that not work out for the perfect color, right? So now I got another trash bag for something else. Which guess I means I have to give one away to you guys. So since I won a free one, I'll give one to someone of you. Comment down below. Let me know. We helped Alan get everything cleaned up, so did some of the other guys in the club. Then we went ahead and had dinner, and it was a late dinner because it was late getting everything picked up. So now we're headed home. See you in the morning. All right, we're done with the cleanup. We're back here in the garage. I put together this thing this morning. I got another jack stand for the lift, and this one I actually got from Harbor Freight. The cool thing about this is that it's keyed. So if I need to raise it or lower it with one hand, I can do that. Plus it has a bunch of different extension heights, which I think is interesting because it was actually cheaper than this one. And this one, if I spin it, it just spins. So I have to always hold it. Now each one of them has their pros and cons because that one's pretty thin. This one takes up a little bit of space on the base, but I feel like that one's probably a little more stout too. So catch-22, right? Like, better, why can't we combine them both and make an awesome one? Either way, I have a project I need to do on this thing. If you guys remember this rockstar, I wanted to drag race with my Jeep against George and Trevor from Misadventure Labs. Now, realistically, I did buy it. He did give me a good price on it, but I did buy it. But one of my issues with it is kind of the fuel economy. I mean, it's a turbo 4-cylinder diesel, and I get like 28 to 30 miles per gallon, which I think is not enough for a diesel, and that's really on a good day. Plus this thing has lockers, and it has lunchbox lockers front and back, which means they ratchet when you're going in and out of like a driveway or a garage or anything like that. You hear clunk 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 clunk, you know, and it'll grab. One of my major issues with the front locker is this thing doesn't have lockout hubs, and so what happens is, like, when I'm steering, I can feel it actually grab that locker sometimes. Plus all of my front end drivetrain is spinning all the time, even in two-wheel drive, because there's no selectable lockouts here. So that's what I got here, is some lockouts for a Roxer. Now what's crazy about these axles is they look like a Dana 44, but the outer stubs of the shafts is an external hub, and it's a 10 spline as opposed to like a 19 spline like you'd have in this 44 right behind me. So I don't know, we'll take it apart and see what it looks like. Well, there's why it wouldn't slide out. It's got a little clip on there. Ta-da! That should come out. There we go. Huh. That's a weird looking axle shaft, ain't it? Here is the first part of an external lockout. Nice. And we'll set that on there. Put these in. Just like working on an old Toyota, seems like a lot of bolts on this thing are 12 and 14. In this case, they're 14 millimeter. Then we just got the lockout. Pretty straightforward, I guess. Doesn't look like there's any directional on that, so. And these right here are just a T15 Torx. Throw them in, we'll be good. Perfect. Now this wheel spins freely. It's not locked up to the front end or to the back end. Running it in 4-wheel drive even when I'm in 2-wheel drive. Now I'll be in a true 2-wheel drive. So I can just lock in the hub. And now you can hear that locker. And it's spinning the drive shaft. That frees it up. Not a bad 2-minute project for sure. I'll do the same to the other side, and before this video's out, I'll let you know if I gained any fuel economy not burning my front end around. All right, got the other side done. That was pretty easy. Plus, now I have these slugs as backup. So for some reason, if I really got hardcore, broke a lockout, I could throw this slug in and put it back in. But being a tiny little 10-spline axle shaft, I don't know what's gonna be the weakest link first. So there's probably 3 major pros to lockout hubs. Number 1, I am going to stop putting wear and tear on the front end parts. It's going to be easier to steer. That's a huge thing, being able to turn and drive and still have that locker in the front. Secondly is having all the drivetrain running all the way up to the transfer case. One of the issues I've seen with the Mahindra Roxors is people having to rebuild the transfer case, which kind of looks like a Dana 20 style transfer case. If you're running full time all the time, you're putting a lot of wear on those gears that you really don't need to be doing. And thirdly, obviously, is hopefully miles per gallon. I should at least see 1 mile per gallon change, hopefully maybe 2 or more. But when you're not pulling all that front end around with a low horsepower motor that doesn't have a tuner, you should see a change in power and fuel economy. So drivability, wear and tear, power, and fuel economy. That's actually 4 things. Not too bad for just throwing a set of lockouts on. Now there is one downside to having lockouts. If you need 4-wheel drive, you got to get out and actually do that. So you can't just shift it in 4-wheel drive and keep on going. I'll take that though. One of the things I should say about this Roxor too is that this metal is like super thick. Like when you go to pick this hood up, you're like, ugh. It's a lot of weight. It is probably twice the weight of my Wrangler hood. So that tells me that the metal's heavy, that all the parts here are heavy, which is good for like holding up and stuff, but that's probably a lot of weight to the vehicle that doesn't really need to be there. I don't know if you can see how my leaf spring is already reverse arching as well. When leaf springs are designed to be sprung under, there's a design there for that spring under. Once you spring it over, you're putting different torque in different places and it wears leaf springs out like that. So I am gonna have to come up with a different suspension design for this in the future because this spring over kit is gonna break these leaf springs. The leaf springs are actually bending the wrong way and that's not good. I do think it's pretty cool. It's got a Grant steering wheel. What's funny too, this is the ignition key, this is your toolbox key, and this is your fuel key. So it's funny that this big old monster is just for the toolboxes under the bed, and this tiny little offset thing goes to that. Now on to the front axle. I have a Barnes truss here. I want to go ahead and truss this front end. We are going to race that car. It's going to go fast. I need to make sure that this axle is going to hold up. Now the nice thing about this truss is it's not super heavy. It's actually pretty light. I picked it up just like that. Of course, right now it's all going to fall apart, but I had it upside down with just one hand. Yet it's going to give so much rigidity to this entire axle and give it strength that it's going to be huge for keeping things together when we're out in the desert. Now because these axles aren't as common anymore, this is an old 79 Ford leaf sprung Dana 44, I am going to have to modify the truss a little bit. You can see it's a little tight here, it's a little tight in here. I'm probably going to cut down on this casting as well and modify that just so this thing can sit down on it. I'm also going to go ahead and cut these off because I don't plan on running coils. But if you were, I think it's super cool that Barnes has this drop-in feature. You kick that down welded in, and that actually holds your coil, because these truss kits make life easy, but I can't stand seeing these truss kits where the coil is sitting crooked in it and the coil looks all cattywampus underneath the vehicle because they have a flat surface for that coil to mount. And the TJs, the Cherokees, the Grand Cherokees, all them, the coil actually comes down. It doesn't go flat at the bottom. It comes down at an angle. So you need to have that little taper there. Because we're doing those used coilovers back there, it's totally different. And just like everything at Barnes, use code Colt10, you get 10% off anything in their store. Time for some mods. All right, so once I measured the truss to get it centered where each end is about 3 3/4 to here,
and from here to here, which is about 8.5 inches from top of ball joint to the center of the coil. I went ahead and marked this. This is what I got to notch out. Now, the funny thing about Ford axles is you could have a Ford leaf sprung axle, you could have a Ford cast wedge axle. There's some that were actually cast into the housing, and then there's ones that you could actually cut off. There was ones that were just, they were all different. So in this case, this is a leaf sprung Ford. I need to give a little chippy chop, grind that down. That way we can get the thing down to where it needs to be, and then I can cut my little truss pieces that are inside there that'll fit inside. We're gonna tear this case apart and weld this together the right way. Rusted knuckle 44. Cool. Now what I did here is gave myself a cut line. Where that'll come in handy is if I get aggressive with the grinder, I get a little too far ahead of myself, I know when to stop because I have my cut line there that gets me my stopping point. That's the advantage of that Harbor Freight 7-inch grinder right there. I got a nice crisp cut all the way across. See how that truss looks now. All right, much better. Now it's down, everything's sitting where it's supposed to be. Got my marks. Pretty good looking setup there. I'll have to trim these up to fit. Cut that piece out there and then trim that back to fit in there. But heck of a lot closer than it was. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Now I need to get all this cast ground off. A lot of rust dust. Now I get all this rust off this cast. So I got a lot of flap disc stuff, a lot of wire wheel stuff, whatever you want to do to get all this rust off of here so that we have a setup that we can weld to. Now I know on YouTube we joke a lot about safety squints, things like that, but if you're using a wire wheel, you better bring your big boy pants and you better wear some safety glasses, because I've had plenty of these wires come flinging out, catch me in the chest, catch me in the legs, catch me in the face, and then you pluck a wire out like, so I'm gonna keep my face well above this thing, and we're gonna wire wheel down here, down at my waist. So worst case scenario, I might be pulling one out of my leg. But this is something you always wanna be cautious of, is the wire wheels. The other thing I'd like to mention too about using a wire wheel is I like to do it with a battery powered grinder. Couple reasons. Number one, I have a lot more movement. It doesn't have as much torque, so it doesn't kick back if it catches something weird. And then secondly is it doesn't spin as fast. So like your plug-in ones have a much higher RPM rate that's a little harder to control. These are a little slower. So I don't like to put a whole lot of pressure on these. I like to let them do the work. When you shove down on it and you have it cranking and you have a corded one, it's gonna fling some wires. I did hear a few hit that wall over there when I was grinding away. So you can see it looks pretty cleaned up now. Next thing I need to do is remove that breather. Oh boy. It's hard to see in there, but it's completely packed off with rust, including that. So my breather wasn't breathing. It's probably why you blow out an axle seal, but we're gonna go ahead and try to tap this and put it back together. Realistically, where this is right where that truss is gonna be. So if I wanna weld a plate there, this is gonna be right in the way. So I really don't even want this there. I'm probably gonna move it up into here somewhere, move that vent up here, which is a good thing anyway. It's higher on the differential and I can clean it up, get to it, all the above. We'll see if I can tap this first, and then we'll work on that. Breaking all the rules of taps. Yeah, it's just all the threads are gone on it. I'm gonna have to tap it into something smaller than that. If all the threads wouldn't have stayed in that cast, it would have been 1/8 inch NPT. I'm gonna go with a 3/8 by 24 and see if I can just go ahead and tap it the way it is since all the threads are gone. We will see if we can get lucky here and not have to do any major modifications. Oh yeah, much better. That'll work. Now I'll go ahead and flip it over just so that I can get the threads all the way up on it since it's not a tapered thread anymore. Cool.
Well, that's not too bad at all. Now, I still need to drill it out, make sure it's even worth keeping. See if we can get all the crusties out of it. Then we'll have to drill a new hole in that cast. Oh yeah, a little brake clean made that thing new. Perfect. Now have our breather out of the way of our truss, and when I go to weld everything up, I can cap that off as well. That piece. All the grinder dust. Perfect. Ta-da. So that, sitting there nice. This one I still got to do just a slight bit more trimming on it. So we'll get that thing trimmed up and then get it set in there. We have everything tacked together, set up in here, trimmed to fit, looking pretty awesome. New breather point, that'll be good. But if you want to see me build the ultimate Dana 44, you're gonna have to wait till the next video on this thing. Everything's prepped now, we're looking good. I got a few other things to do in the shop that I'd like to get done now. J.R. Stittner sent me a plate that says trail nut, which I think will definitely have to replace the Virginia one that's basically just nothing. We'll put this on here for sure. I also have a basic California plate, which Chris Watson sent me this, awesome fun. So that's a pretty cool plate. We'll go ahead and put that one on as well. And Dan Williams noticed that I did not have Ontario. So he sent me Ontario. Hopefully I can get more of these Canadian plates filled in. But I just want to thank all three of you guys for sending me plates and everybody else that has as well. Next thing isn't license plates though. It is signage. If you guys remember quite a few episodes back, I asked if anybody had sign skills, and I was actually hoping to pay somebody to make me like this rad sign, and instead 2 awesome people just made me a couple signs, and I'm going to show you guys those right now. Those are rad, huh? So Garrett Parsons found me at We Rock in Washington and had laser cut me this sign. It matches this thing just right on the money. And Jesse Penelakis built me this sign out of an old stop sign. It's all custom actually, hand painted it, pinstriped it, and then I kind of have it's almost like a 14 bolt looking diff cover there. So super cool. Jesse actually has a YouTube channel called Cadillacus where he builds cool Toyotas, old Chevy pickups, rebuilds carburetors and some other stuff, and obviously does some pinstripe work. Huge thank you to both of these guys. This is awesome. I'm gonna make sure I get these signs up in here because these are just rad. Those are actual bolts. One more territory knocked off the list. All right guys, well it's been about 3 days. This thing gained tons of more power, I noticed. A lot better drivability, way better to drive. And the last time I checked, I gained about 1 to 2 miles per gallon also. So pretty big deal, pretty huge. We are now going to head over here and film with the mayor of Farmington. So appreciate you guys watching. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye everybody.